Tala lelo chobadi kondosa miziki na yo papa. Ndika kutarisa ndinoba mapibili pangwembende yangu Sauma. 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 Sauma. Dr. Tawanda na Botswana. Sauma. Moko andeka yote. Sauma. Remi Salomon. Makasi ya Mungu. Moko andeka yote. Pandaka sangana newe iwe. Dakasiva na sangana na maile moyo. Le moyo wangu ye. Siwa. Kutete kare tose. Enda kujimu seva mwe. Uwe nejimande bele. Seza sandera ndebele. Mwana akabatana iye. Ukanditambisira wori mwechete. Sezvinoita befisi bandaimba inganakidza. Mwana anotamba iye. Sauma. 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 Iva mukadzi anoshanda nesimba samaititi vai. Felista simurata anoshanda veduwe. Poda poda oiwe. Uve neruna kose wa mata mukosi taira. Mwana kanaka yeye. Ukapande moyo wese. Sezvinoita pashoni chapa. Nyika ichakufarira. Twoma. Rangarira osauma. Usaite makuwa. Sa evidenzi chilera uya uya. Unofira mumaoko mewano. Sauma. 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 Awanakati ya Afrika Zite Jason Mdasa Danze Karolino Menda Hedo Isa Philippe Muganza Stefani Mutambua Number 1 katika Banjuka Nyako Makanaka Kasaira Moteleki, Carolino Menda, the king of Sukuze, Salomoni, Makasi ya Mungu, Passion Jamba, Tongo na Mizi, Boloka kulela ya Jason Mizi, Malodi, Mokonzi ya computer, Schema Records, others follow. Number 1. Sauma. Ndika kutarisa ndinoba mapibili pambembende yangu Sauma. 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 Sheuta mizi Moteleki Matikemu Hele ni dongwe Toko banga midote
Berna mawero nyako
Jason Mizale Kikilo Yeah. Welcome to our world. If you're Australia, this is the channel where we bring you the best information from the sources of information. We talk to people who move mountains.
So this evening or this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you are, we are going to engage the political commentator from Kenya. We all know that the Kenyans are going to the ballot, in August. They were on the ballot in 2017, which resulted in President Uhuru Kenyatta becoming or taking oath for his second term, which is about to finish. And yes, tonight, this morning, this afternoon, we are going beyond the sensation. We are going to talk to the governor, Mr. Solomon Wahome. He's going to talk us through what is happening in Kenya and give us his understanding. He says he has never supported a party that loses an election. And he's going to present the party that he knows is going to win the 2022 Kenyan elections in August this year. And I'm not going to preempt as to who is contesting in these elections, because the source is here. The reliable source is here. Mr. Solomon Wahome. Let's welcome him to the show. Hello, Mr. Wahome, the governor. How are you?
Hello. Thank you, Jason, and thank you for having me in your program. Thank you so much.
We are back again.
After 5 years.
After 5 years. We do this every 5 years. We had a very good time in 2017.
Yeah.
And your predictions were correct.
Your
commentaries were correct.
Absolutely.
The person you said was going to win won.
I've never been wrong since 1992. So basically, you better listen to me.
That's very interesting. So South Australia, the world over, we are going beyond the sensations this morning, this afternoon, and this evening. We are direct with the source, and they're going to get right information and correct information direct from the source. Mr. Solomon Wahome, maybe I wouldn't want to start by taking you to the Kenyan situation. I'm an Australian. You're an Australian. We're citizens here. Australia is going to the ballot. Australia is going to vote next month, May, the 21st, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Can you tell the people what's your prediction for next month?
Okay. Thank you for that question. And before I go to that question, just allow me for 2 seconds, because we know what has happened in Kenya for the last few days. Kenya has lost a son. Kenya has lost the third president of Kenya, President Mwai Kibaki. He passed away just the other day, and Kenya is in mourning. So I'd like to take this opportunity to also pass my condolences. First of all, just to remember the late President Kibaki. He will be remembered for giving his life for Kenya. He was the father of the modern day Kenya. I can imagine within 3 months of coming to power in the year 2002, he offered free primary education. He put an extra 1 million kids to school just by giving free primary education. I remember there was a guy, an 80-year-old man who went to school. His name was, can't remember the name, but he actually went to school because of the free primary education program. Kibaki, zero tolerance to corruption. He made Kenya to be rated the happiest or the most hopeful nation in the world within 3 months of being president. He was a true patriot, and he was the longest serving member of parliament in the Commonwealth with 50 years in parliament. He's the best president Kenya has ever had, and no monument is named after him, not like the Kenyattas, not like the Mois. We need to celebrate President Kibaki, the late President Kibaki. He is our Nyerere, he is our Nkrumah, he is our Mandela. So thank you for that. I'll now go to your question. Prediction for
Sorry,
Australia.
Mr. Wahome, can I cut you a bit? Thank you very much for bringing that up. It didn't come into my mind, but we will just take a minute of silence in honor of former President and the deceased President Kibaki. Thank you very much. That was a minute of silence in honor of the late African nationalist and African leader, the Pan-Africanist, the man who gave his life to the Kenyan people so that they become who they are today. So we will take this opportunity to get into the issue of today.
Yep.
Kenya is going to the elections. Australia is going to the elections, but we're focusing on Kenya. But of course, we've got elections coming up next month in Australia. We'll just have one question on that. And since we are citizens here in Australia, and the governor will touch that, and then we get into the Kenyan issue. Thank you. Over to you, Gavin.
All right, thank you. The last time I checked the polls, the Liberal Party was leading by about 9 points. They were 54.5%, and Labour was about 45.5%. And don't forget, when Labour won last time, the polls were showing as if they were behind, and they still won the election. So this time, they are quite ahead in the polls, and I can see Morrison forming the next government without a doubt.
You can see Morrison, Scott Morrison, getting another term.
Yeah, forming the next government. Yeah, without a doubt. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wahome. And the opinions and the information we're getting here, some of the information is from solely the governor's information. So if you challenge him, please, the floor is yours. Come here. Let's talk. Mr. Governor, I want to come back to you with my second question. Why do you think the Liberals lost in South Australia in March?
Yeah, interesting question there, Jason. You may say they went to the polls when the Liberals were only one seat up. They had 20 seats, and the Labour had 19. There were seats, I think six independent seats. But then quite a few things happened. Number one, Nick Xenophon Party impact was major, and he collected a few more seats, from the Liberal Party, and then the loss of confidence in Marshall's government. In 2018, when Marshall was running, when he became prime minister, he had specific policies around tax, payroll tax, reduced cost of living, and all those things. But this year, he was all about strong economy, but lacked pledges on probably economic and fiscal policies. And probably people did not resonate with that very, very well. And so they decided to dump Liberal for Labour.
Yeah, well, yes. Now, thank you very much, Mr. Governor, for that. Let's get into the reason why we are here. Kenya is going to the ballot again, and we are here again. And there are some people who shall come here to challenge you. They challenged you in 2017.
Yeah.
And their challenge did not amount to anything, because what you were saying back then came out to be true. So it remains to be seen as to whether what you are going to say this year is going to come true or false. But like you said, you've never supported a losing party. It's your history. Can you tell us which candidates are popular in Kenya are going to fight it off? I know in an election, there can be many political parties, there can be many presidential candidates, but there are those two who everyone is saying, oh, this or that, this or that. Can you tell everyone around the world who is going to, who are the main contestants in the 2022 Kenyan elections?
As we say, there are two horses and the rest are donkeys. So the two horses is obviously William Ruto under UDA, and then there's Raila Amolo Odinga under Azimio. So those are the main parties. And they are the main parties because what they've done is they are national parties, and they've been able to also bring in smaller parties to join them to become even bigger. Pretty much.
We lost you a bit, Mr. Governor.
All right, so I'll just repeat. I don't know where you lost me at, but I'll just restart. I said in Kenya.
Final statement.
Oh, the final statement. Oh, the final statement said so because of bringing together the small parties, they become quite big, and it will be interesting to see who wins because they are both very, very strong. They have very, very strong candidates, and also the allies, the main supporters, the main guys behind the two leaders are also very, very strong and very experienced. So it will be very interesting to see what happens.
Maybe people may want to know that these two contenders have had something to do with political leadership or with governance, in Kenya. You may want to touch a bit on that to introduce them in their capacity,
All right,
they've done, they've held in Kenya.
Yeah, fair. So I'll start with the Azimio and Raila Amolo Odinga. So Raila Amolo Odinga is he's a really respected Kenyan. I can say that. He's a true Democrat. He's among the first people who are there to fight for multi-party democracy. He's been very instrumental in changing the constitution and making Kenya better. So those are things that are really that Raila has really fought for the country, and obviously people are grateful for that. He was a member of parliament for about 20 years in Langata constituency, and then he at some point he was a minister for about 5 or so years in Kibaki's government. He fell up with Kibaki, then obviously tried to run for the presidency again. He's run for presidency 4 times, so this is the 5th time that he'll be running. So he's an old guard in the game, and he's a very respected man in that area. UDA, that is under.
I understand. Has he been the prime minister of the country at some point?
Sorry?
Has he been the prime minister of Kenya at some point?
Yeah. So sorry, I missed that. Sorry. He was he was minister for 5 years, and then he was also prime minister for about 3 or 4 years. So so he's been in government before. He was in Quebec's government as a prime minister, and that was brought about because of the clashes in 2008. Because he thought he had won the election, Kibaki thought he had won the election, so there were clashes, and they decided to come together to form a coalition government. And they changed the constitution to give him the seat of a prime minister, and he was given his own cabinet. So we had a bloated cabinet from 20 to 40 because of that. But anyway, because of that, the country moved on, and they were able to, the country was able to move on. Oh, thanks for that correction. The UDA, that is the under William Ruto. He's a young man. He's probably 55, 50 something, and he's been a member of parliament here for a long time, since I think 1997 or 92, 97, I guess. He's been a cabinet minister in President Moi's government. He was a cabinet minister in Kibaki's government. And the main party, the main ministries that he has carried was agriculture, and education. So those are the main ones. And yeah, he became the deputy president of Kenya in 2013. He was running with the Uhuru Kenyatta, President Uhuru Kenyatta. And yeah, so this is the last term for Uhuru Kenyatta, and his last term as DP, and now he's coming to be wanting to be president of the country.
Yes, so we are going to see Kenyan elections being an affair of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and current Deputy President DP William Samoei Ruto. So, yeah. Mr. Wahome, who would you advise Kenyans to vote in August?
Okay, that is tricky. It's tricky. I would say this for record. I have tremendous respect for both leaders. Both leaders have done a lot for Kenya. Both leaders have their flaws. Both leaders are capable of leading Kenya to the next level. So you know, like the other day, Mother Karua said, the side of William Ruto and the side of Raila Odinga, both sides, they have people who have stolen from government, or who are corrupt in both sides. There are people who are really good and who are able to govern. So both sides, they have, I can say, and just for argument's sake, whoever is able whoever will be declared president, I think it's very important at this point to get Kenya together, to get people to know the person who will be president will be Kenyan. That person will be Kenyan. And that person will be able to lead Kenya and to bring people together to lead us. So it's good to campaign. It's good to vote for the people we want and so on. But eventually, after the election, it's good for people to know that Kenya must move on. We must have a leader. Whichever leader wins, well, let's support that and move on.
But if you were in Kenya, who were you going to vote yourself?
Well, I align myself with the policies and the politics of William Ruto.
Wonderful. Kenyan politics has always been marred by tribalism. Tribalism has been attached to Kenyan politics, unlike Tanzanian politics. So, do you think it is still an issue for 2022?
Well, tribalism has been there since independence in Kenya, and a lot of the elections, a lot of how people are selected, the alignment, they are all really tribal, and that is because of the numbers. For example, if you look at the Kikuyus, you look at how many people do you have, and so on and so forth, and that has been going on for the last many years. This time around, however, the most populous tribe, the Kikuyu, they have decided they will not be running for presidency, and they'll be supporting someone else. So that is major. That is major. So the biggest tribe deciding they will support anyone else, but not themselves. So the issue of tribe has been removed, and that has been replaced. William Ruto and his UDA party, they replaced that by looking at the hustler nation, looking at the economy, looking at instead of looking at the tribe, they are looking themselves at people who are struggling, the hustlers. If the hustlers are struggling, what are we going to do to be able to make ourselves better? So that is the scenario that is going on. I'm not downplaying the fact that tribalism will still play a part. It will still do. But at the presidency level, I see the Kikuyu community playing that card that will be different from what they played before.
And you obviously, most Kenyans know about the Building Bridges Initiative, the BBI, which was a concept that was masterminded by current President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM President Raila Amolo. So, in your own, the way you see it, do you think BBI, the way it lost in courts, it may have an impact in this election, or in Raila's bid for this election?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely did. It was a big win for Kenya, and I wouldn't call it a loss for Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, but it was a seriously big win for the nation. The High Court judges, blocked them. The Court of Appeal blocked them. The Supreme Court came and said null and void. And, it's a pity because a lot of resources had been used by the two guys. People are calling them one is null and the other is void. That was a private succession plan by Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga. They use state resources. People say up to 20 billion shillings to start something that was just about to bring them into power, to bring relevance into to be positions for themselves. It was just a scheme choreographed to try and force Ruto out of government. There was a lot of many goodies in BBI, don't take me wrong. There were a lot of things which were really, really good. But then they were coated by this poison about positions and all those things. And people looked through that and said, this is unconstitutional. And if it's unconstitutional, just get rid of it. Start again if you want in future. Remove the things which are unconstitutional. Do it properly. And Kenyans will support it because there are a lot of good things in BBI. But the way it was done, the way it was started, the lies that were peddled around it, it wasn't good. And ironically, the country is now more divided. Arguably, you're more divided than before the BBI. So it's not a thing that was good for the country. It wasn't good at all. I'm sure Kenyans are going to judge. They're going to judge the people who started this BBI harshly because of what they did with that document.
And we are all aware that the 2017 elections were not rosy as such because they were disputed. It ended in a rerun, and it also needed a constitutional court and other stuff. And President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was declared by the court when elections had not found a winner as such. So, do you think the handshake that came after that, which, in my opinion, I would say it prevented skirmish of 2007, do you think that handshake would work in favor of Raila in this election?
Let me say two things. Number one, the handshake. I don't have a problem with handshake, so to speak, if it was done properly. What I have the problem with is the reason that we were given by both Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta. So because they misled the country, you see. By that time, Raila was politically finished, and he was only revived by the handshake. So by the time Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was going to him, he had no consequence. And if he had done something that was wrong, if the things he was talking about were unconstitutional, the right thing to do was to arrest him and take him to court. But you cannot come and say, or former presidents to say during the next elections, if, for argument's sake, William Ruto loses to Raila Amolo Odinga, he will just go to the streets, make noise, and then, go and swear himself in. And then Raila will say, okay, don't worry, just come, let's shake hands. So that, so why are you pampering this guy? If you do something wrong, take someone to court. That was the time Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta showed his weakest point. That was not the way, that was not presidential. He did not probably act like a commander-in-chief. I can say that for a fact. But because it was something that they had planned, and I'm saying this because before the elections, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta's ally, David Murabe, had come and said Ruto will not be president in 2022. So we knew something was going on, something was cooking. And then come the elections, William Ruto goes out of his way, campaigns for, they campaign together with Uhuru, and they get the presidency. Immediately after that, he thought, okay, now that's enough, and so a lot of things I can say they were, just hang on for 2 seconds. A lot of things which happened during that time should not have happened that way. But the handshake itself, it will not be a plus to him. It will cost Raila's re-election. And who do you think is going to be DP Ruto's running mate in this election? That we are going to know in the next few days, in the next by the 16th of May. But there are several people there. I can tell you that after a short break so that I can be able to charge my computer. If you'd like to take us for a short break so I can charge my computer.
We'll go for a short break.
Yeah.
Makasi ya Mungu, ambassadeur ya la paix, the king of sukus. Jana lelo, jobadi kotosa miziki na yo papa. Ndika kujarisa nino mama, bibidi bambende yangu ni sauma. Ndika kujarisa nino mama, bibidi bambende yangu ni sauma. Ndika kujarisa nino mama, bibidi bambende yangu ni sauma. Ndika kujarisa nino mama, bibidi bambende yangu ni sauma. Sauma. Dr. Tawana na Botswana. Sauma. Moko aleka yote. Sauma. Remi Salomon. Makasi ya Mungu. Moko aleka yote. Pandaka sangana newe iwe. Dakasiwa na sangana na maile moyo. Le moyo wangu ye. Siwa. Kutete kare tose. Enda kuji musema mwe. Uwe nejimande bele. Seza sande rande bele. Mwana akabatana iye. Ukanditambisira wori mwechete. Sezvinoita pepisi bandayimba inganakidza. Mwana anotamba iye. Sauma. 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 Iva mukadzi anoshanda nesimba samaititi vai. Felicitas Murata anoshanda veruwe. Poda poda oiwe. Uve neruna kose wa madamu positaira. Mwana akanaka yeye. Ukapande moyo wese. Sezvinoita pashoni java. Nyika ichakufarira. Tobo rangarira osauma. Usaite makuwa. Sa evidence chilera uya uya. Unofira mumaoko mevano. Dada Zadanze, Caroline Omenda, Heno Isa, Philip Mugaza, Stefani Mutambua, number 1. Makanaka Kasaira, Boteleki, Caroline Omenda, the king of Sukuze, Salomoni, Makasi ya Mungu, Passion Jamba, Tongo na Mizi, Weloka kulela ya Jason Mizi, Malodi, Mokonzi ya computer, Schema Records, others follow. Number 1. Sauma, Shelter Mizi, Boteleki, Matikemu, Hele Lidongwe, Togobanga Midote, Jason Mizale Kikilo.
Hello, South Australia and the world over. We are here. We are going beyond the sensation. We are talking to the governor, and he's now going to wrap up his talk for tonight, this morning, and this afternoon. He'll be back because the elections are in August, and we are going to have a lot. He was just officially starting the program of the commentaries that he does every year. We have elections in Kenya. I'll get Mr. Governor to join us back.
Yeah.
Hey, Governor, welcome back after a short break. So, I asked you a question, and you were going to
right. So, I think before the break, you had asked me a question, and I think the question was
running mate. With the running mate for who do you think is going to be the running mate for GP William Ruto? Okay,
good. Right now, in UDA, I think it's a foregone conclusion that the running mate for William Samoei Ruto will come from the central region of Kenya. Now, that is the most populous community. It is the most political. They're really political as well. It's the most, you can see it's actually extremely united. It's the most economically, endowed. And that is the community that fought for the liberation of this country, the Mau Mau. So it's about, you're talking about 6-7 million voters in that region. And getting a DP from that area is not easy. We have several people who are the key allies. There's Gachagua, who was the member of parliament for Madeira. There's Anwe Guru, who's governor Kirinyaga. There's Ndini Nyoro, a member of parliament in Murang'a. And there's also Kindiki, a renowned lawyer, Professor Kindiki, one of the best lawyers in the country. Yeah, so from there, I'm sure he'll be able to pick someone, including Alice Wahome. I'm sure he'll be able to get a running mate from that team.
So, people may want to know, why did GP Ruto fall out with President Uhuru Kenyatta?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you for that. And before I go there, let me talk a little bit about the other side. So on the other side of Raila Amolo Odinga, there's total confusion right now. There's initially they have promised Kalonzo Musyoka, a former vice president, that he's coming as a vice president. He was vice president during Kibaki's time for 5 years. He was running mate for Raila Amolo Odinga in 2013. He was running mate for Raila Amolo Odinga in 2017, and he was promised this time that he'll be the running mate. And then that was put aside, and they put someone else. Now there's Martha Karua, a reformist from central Kenya, and then there's Peter Munya, a guy from Meru region, who's a cabinet secretary, and he was told not to run for governor because he'll be given that seat. And then there's Peter Kenneth, who's been promised the same seat has been promised so many people, and now that's going to cause a lot of commotion. And I sympathize with Kalonzo Musyoka because he was not interviewed by Kibaki to be vice president. He was not interviewed by Raila to be his running mate in 2013. He was not interviewed in 2017. But this time, because of that confusion, he's been told to go for an interview. There are a few people have been put together to go, and Kalonzo Musyoka has been told to go for an interview. So that's really, really sad for that man, because I have a lot of respect for Kalonzo Musyoka. Yes. So, and your question was, sorry.
Why did the DP Ruto fall out with President Uhuru Kenyatta?
Okay, yeah. So thank you. It is not really known, but from the vibes that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has been giving, he said, Uhuru thinks that Ruto is too ambitious. He described him the other day as he compared to him like an uncontrolled missile. Now, and some people are asking, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because of being so ambitious, William Ruto was able to campaign for Uhuru to become president twice, in fact 3 times, because of his ambition, because he's got a lot of energy. So now that he has that energy, he's been told it's not a good thing, but that energy was a good thing before. So that's one of the main reasons they're saying. The other thing is, you see, William Ruto supported Raila Amolo Odinga a while back unconditionally. William Ruto supported Uhuru unconditionally. But unfortunately for him, when he was not planning on the succession to become president in 2022, they decided he will not be president, and all his allies, all his friends were removed from government. He was really frustrated. His office in Harambee House, they put other things there. He can't even go there. So he was not even any duties or any jobs to do, and he was just left there. So he decided to do what he could, go to the people and ask for the votes, because after all, he didn't have any job to do. And people sympathize with William Ruto for that. So we don't know exactly why they fell out, but Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has told us it's because he has an uncontrolled ambition.
So our final question for tonight, before we call it a night, do you think the fallout is going to impact negatively on Ruto's ambition or bid to be the next president of Kenya?
I cannot be able to advise Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta or Raila Amolo Odinga, but I'll tell you one thing. Every time Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta says something negative about William Ruto, Raila loses 100,000 votes. You see, Uhuru's word at the moment does not have any value, in my opinion, especially in Central Province. And the more they try to attack Ruto, the more Ruto gets votes. So that fallout, it's a blessing for DP.
Thank you very much, Africa and beyond. Thank you very much, Australia, Europe, America, Canada, China, Russia, Ukraine, everywhere. We are reaching you, and you have been listening to the political commentator from Kenya, who is an Australian citizen, and he has given us more information about these elections which are coming up in August. I would want Mr. Governor to say bye to our listeners and viewers, and then will be back in the next podcast. We are still talking about this election. But what you say?
Thank you very much. I would like to say, as a closing, for Kenyans who will be voting, Kenyans who are in Kenya and Kenyans in diaspora who will be voting, especially in America and UK and other places, just vote for your candidate, campaign for your candidate. But whoever wins, we are still together. There are a lot of stakes. If you look at the manifesto for UDA and Azimio, they're almost the same. UDA talks about improved livelihood, create jobs, infrastructure, environment. Azimio talks about fighting corruption, creating jobs, infrastructure, etc. So, the policies are almost the same, but the people running the show are different. Things, where Kenya is now, it is so low, things are so bad. The fertilizer prices are so, from 1,800 into the 2010 and 2012 to 6,800 shillings now. The food prices, everything is so bad. It cannot get worse than this. So whoever president will come, I'm sure things will start going up for Kenya. Things will be better. So there are a lot of people 4 million people without jobs, 15 million people with low income. So let us be hopeful that whoever comes in will be able to build Kenya and bring Kenyans together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor. That was Mr. Wahome Solomon. He's called Governor. He's a political commentator from Kenya. He was giving us information about the upcoming Kenyan elections coming up in August this year. And we'll be having Governor Beck. We'll be having talk shows with him and some other commentators from that country until the elections are over. They will come and wrap them up. Thank you very much. We meet in the next broadcast.
Makasi ya Mungu. Ambassador ya Nape, the king of sukus. Tala lelo, jobadi kotosa misiki na yo papa.